Hello, welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you are watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got breaking news coming out from the UK to share with all of you. Now, we're going to talk about a story that I briefly discussed this morning during our update video with the Russia Ukraine war, but I want to talk about this a little bit more in depth today. Take a look at your screen. Russian spy ship caught gathering intelligence off coast of UK. A Russian spy ship was tracked closely by the Royal Navy this week after it entered UK waters on Monday and passed through the channel after recent concern about safety of undersea cables. Okay, so reportedly, according to the Defense Secretary of the UK, his name is John Healey. He was speaking to the House of Commons just today, and I have the video footage I can show you. This is kind of like their lower house of their parliament, and he was accusing this Russian ship of being a spy ship and saying that it was mapping the UK's critical underwater infrastructure. Okay, so could this potentially be a spy ship gathering information to see where maybe some of these underwater sea cables are located off the coast of the UK? So maybe another ship can come through here later and try to sever them. Who knows what's really happening? But they are accusing this ship of being a Russian spy ship, which is very big. We've been seeing a lot of this recently. We've been having cables being cut over near Finland and Estonia. In the Baltic Sea, lots of cables being damaged over there. We even had reports today just off the coast of Taiwan. I'm going to do a separate update and talk about that. We have reports of cables being cut over there again. That's like the second time of that happening in the last couple weeks. So, lots of critical infrastructure being targeted, and supposedly the major suspect here is Russia that's doing this. Many times, apparently, they're using their shadow fleet of oil tankers, and they could be dragging their anchors, or who knows what is happening here to destroy underwater critical infrastructure. So I want to talk about this more today, and I also have a video I can show you guys of John Healey speaking to the House of Commons and him basically claiming that this is a Russian spy ship and they were mapping the UK's critical underwater infrastructure, and that they were monitoring this ship the entire time. So this is a picture that's coming out recently. I believe this could be an older photo of another time this ship was intercepted, but I believe that is the ship that's being suspected of being a Russian spy ship off the coast of UK. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into this on The Guardian. Royal Navy tracks Russian spy ship closely after it enters UK waters. Defense Secretary tells Commons the Yonter had been mapping the UK's critical underwater infrastructure. Okay, so it says right here, an undated handout photo issued by Royal Navy shows HMS Somerset flanking the Yonter near UK waters. So I'm not sure if this is a recent photo, because apparently this ship had been sailing off the coast of the UK before, is kind of what John Healey has said while he was speaking to the House of Commons. So I'm not sure if this was from a previous interception or maybe from a recent one, the one from yesterday. So it says here a Russian spy ship was tracked closely by the Royal Navy this week after it entered UK waters on Monday and passed through the channel at a time of heightened concern about the safety of undersea cables. The Defense Secretary John Healey told the Commons on Tuesday that the Yonter, a Russian vessel engaged in mapping of UK's critical underwater infrastructure, had passed through British waters for the second time in less than 3 months. Okay, so this is the ship's name, the Yonter, supposedly being suspected of being this spy ship for Russia. Healey accused the Russian President Vladimir Putin of trying to threaten European security by targeting undersea infrastructure carrying oil, gas, electricity, and internet. We see you. We know what you're doing, he said before the members of parliament. The Yonter, officially an ocean research vessel, was picked up 45 miles or 70 kilometers off the British coast, well inside the UK's exclusive economic zone, or EEZ, on Monday. Let me be clear, this is a Russian spy ship, Healey told MPs. It had previously sailed, through UK waters in November, when Healey said it had been detected loitering over UK critical undersea infrastructure. It then sailed into Irish waters east of Dublin, raising concern it was spying on internet connectors running between the UK and Ireland. Healey said it had been tracked at the time by a submarine, warships, and patrol aircraft. The submarine had been ordered to surface close to the Yontar to make clear that we had been covertly monitoring its every move, he said. Okay, so that's pretty crazy. This submarine even briefly surfacing, coming out of the water to reveal itself and let this ship know that they were covertly monitoring every move it was making. This time, the vessel did not loiter and was followed by the frigate HMS Somerset and patrol ship HMS Tyne. which had been authorized to get closer to better track it, Healy said. Cables under the Baltic Sea have been damaged in unclear circumstances 3 times in the past 18 months. An oil tanker dragged its anchor, damaged a power cable running between Finland and Estonia on Christmas Day, prompting NATO allies to step up patrols of the region. It is unclear who was responsible for the incident, which involved the Cook Islands registered Eagle S, but Healy told MPs that many analysts believe this was caused by a vessel in Russia's Shadow Fleet. Finally, it says here Britain and other NATO countries are anxious about threats to undersea infrastructure, which are often critical to a nation's needs but are hard to defend. They believe the threat from Russia has stepped up since its invasion of Ukraine. The Yonter is officially an oceanographic research vessel with underwater rescue capability, but is also a member of the Russian Navy. It is operated by the country's main Directorate to Deep Sea Research, which is part of the Defense Ministry. Okay, so you can see why the UK would be heavily monitoring this ship, as they probably have before in the past. So now they're claiming that supposedly the ship was gathering intelligence, maybe mapping the underwater critical infrastructure that might be in that area. So maybe another ship might try to come through here and sever some cables, or maybe try to attack or damage some infrastructure under the waters over here. Okay, so let's jump on over to X now. Let me show you this post here from the Ministry of Defense directly from Britain, okay, from the UK. We see you, we know what you're doing, and we will not shy away from robust action to protect this country. AT's Royal Navy vessels have been tracking a Russian spy ship in the English Channel just weeks after it was caught, loitering over critical undersea infrastructure. Okay, so we've got this video. It's about close to 2 minutes long of John Healy, the Defense Secretary from the UK, speaking to the House of Commons. So I'll show you guys this video, then we'll check out a couple of these photos after. Okay, so we'll start with this first.
A foreign vessel, Yantar, is currently in the North Sea, having passed through British waters. Let me be clear, this is a Russian spy ship used for gathering intelligence and mapping the UK's critical underwater infrastructure. For the last 2 days, the Royal Navy has deployed HMS Somerset and HMS Tyne to monitor the vessel every minute through our waters. And I changed the Royal Navy's rules of engagement so that our warships can get closer and better track the Yantar. So far, the ship has complied with international rules of navigation. But, Mr. Speaker, this is the second time that Yantar has entered our waters in recent months. In November, the ship was also closely watched and detected loitering over UK critical undersea infrastructure. Today, I also wanted to confirm to the House that I authorised a Royal Navy submarine, strictly as a deterrent measure, to surface close to Yantar to make clear that we had been covertly monitoring its every move. The ship then left UK waters without further loitering and sailed down to the Mediterranean. And I also want President Putin to hear this message. We see you, we know what you're doing, and we will not shy away from robust action to protect this country.
All right, so interesting statement coming out from John Healy here. And if you notice at one point, he talks about how this ship, the Yonter, is like kind of loitering over some areas where maybe they have some underwater sea cables or some sort of other critical infrastructure. And that's probably something a ship like this would do, is kind of hang out in one area and try to map as much as they can underwater and get as much intelligence. That makes sense if that were to be the case, that that's actually what this ship is doing. But nonetheless, a major statement going out to Vladimir Putin as well, to let him know that they are watching this ship. They know when these ships are coming over here and what they're doing. Again, this is something we've been talking a lot about in terms of underwater sea cables being damaged, destroyed, cut, whatever you want to call it. And just off the coast of Taiwan again, another event, okay? This is probably 4 or 5 times, if not more, that we're hearing that underwater critical infrastructure is being targeted and damaged. So let's go ahead and check out a couple of these photos here that I have for you guys as well. So this is that picture that we had for you on the waiting screen when you came in, showing one of the Royal Navy's warships closely monitoring this Yonter vessel. Here's a couple more as well. Okay, so you can see they're getting very close, and as he stated there to the comments, the House of Commons, telling them that they changed their rules of engagement to allow these ships to get a lot closer, so that way they can better monitor this thing, kind of harass it in a way too, to maybe scare it away and make it go off somewhere else. So pretty crazy story, guys. Just wanted to show you that information there as well. Now, I'm just curious how the UK is going to respond to this. Now that this ship came over here, potentially gathered some intelligence, are we going to hear very soon, maybe the next few weeks or next couple months, that some cables are being cut over here? Would not surprise me, but we know right now NATO is definitely stepping up their patrols over in the northern side of Europe over here, especially in like the Baltic Sea area. We know they're stepping up their patrols and multiple countries getting involved. I think like 8 countries right now are patrolling just the Baltic Sea alone. So they're definitely watching out for these types of attacks, and they're being called hybrid attacks right now from Russia, potentially trying to damage undersea cables or other infrastructure. So yeah, let me know what you think about all these details down below though, guys. Want to thank you so much for tuning in. That's going to be it for today's update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell, that way YouTube can notify you. And with that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.